पढ़ेंगे न्यू इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसी. न्यू इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसी इज ऑल्सो टर्म्ड एज न्यू इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म्स. There were three main parts of new economic reforms. One was liberalization. Second one was privatization. And the third one was globalization. Before understanding these three terms in detail, we shall study that what were the causes which forced the government to follow the new economic reforms or new economic policy. There were few circumstances which crept in India and which forced the government to follow the new economic policy. The first one was mounting fiscal डेफिशिट. अब हमें जरूरत है कि ये फिस्कल डेफिशिट होता क्या है. बाय द टर्म फिस्कल डेफिशिट वी मीन दैट ऑल द बोरोइंग्स ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट. एंड नाउ व्हाई हियर अराइजेस द क्वेश्चन दैट व्हाट लीड्स द गवर्नमेंट टू borrow from abroad, to borrow from RBI, to borrow from public. So when expenditure of the government is greater than receipt of the government and then the government borrows, तो उस समय ऐसी कौन सी सिचुएशन हुई थी कि इतना ज्यादा फिस्कल डेफिसिट हो गया था. गवर्नमेंट के एक्सपेंसेस एक्सीड कर गए और गवर्नमेंट के रिसीप्ट्स घट गई, जिससे कि जो गवर्नमेंट ने बोरो किया और उस पर जो बोरोइंग्स पर जो इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट आ रहा था वो बहुत ज्यादा था. वो हमारे जीडीपी का एक बहुत मेजर पार्ट जा रहा था इन द पेमेंट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट. एंड द सेकेंड रीजन वाज एडवर्स BOP. Now what do we understand by BOP? BOP means balance of payment. Actually, balance of payment records all the economic transactions with the home country and with the rest of the world. So adverse means which is not favorable. And balance of payment would be not favorable only when exports are less than imports. So this was the condition of India, due to which our BOP became adverse, not favorable. The third point was shrinkage of foreign exchange. Foreign exchange reserve is nothing but foreign currency. It means that we had very few foreign exchange reserves or foreign currency. हमारे पास उस समय इतनी foreign exchange reserves या foreign की currency नहीं थी, सिर्फ इतनी बची थी कि हम सिर्फ 2 हफ्ते के imports के बदले में पेमेंट कर सकते थे. और इससे ज्यादा अगर हम इंपोर्ट करते, we were not in a condition to pay for those imports. The fourth one was poor performance of public sector units. And why there was poor performance of public sector undertakings? Because the entire burden of the economy or the major burden of the economy was upon the government sector. So what happens when the major burden lies on any single person? then obviously the performance declines. This is what happened in the case of India or in the case of government sector units. The fifth one was rise in inflation. Inflation is nothing but rise in general price level of the commodities. So there were two main causes behind rise of inflation. The first cause was demand was greater than supply. It means that supply was not in accordance to the demand which is being done from the side of the consumers. हमारे पास इतनी सप्लाई नहीं थी कि हम सभी की डिमांड को पूरा कर सके, जिसका रिजल्ट क्या हुआ कि प्राइसेस कमोडिटीज के ऊपर बढ़ने लगे और there became a situation of rise in inflation. The second cause behind the rise in inflation was that deficit financing by the government. Deficit financing is a situation when the government borrows from RBI, and when government borrows from RBI, it spends that money on investment activities, on the benefit of the public, and the very moment that money is being spent by the government, it starts circulating in the entire economy. As a result, the money supply increases, and when money supply increases, that leads to the problem of inflation in the economy. And the sixth point, which was the cause behind new economic policy, was inefficient administration. It means that the administration or the process of administration which was being maintained in India was not up to the mark. Some loopholes have crept, or the economic policies whatever decisions were being taken that were not in accordance to the economic conditions of the economy. So these were some of the points which led or which forced the government to follow the new economic policy under liberalization, globalization and privatization. Now, one by one, we shall study all the 3 points in detail. Till now, we have studied that what were the causes which forced the government to follow the policy of liberalization, globalization and privatization. Then after now, we shall study that what is liberalization, what is privatization and what is globalization. But in this lecture, we shall study only about now liberalization. Under liberalization, the government undertook major reforms. Some of the reforms were as number 1, industrial sector reforms, number 2, financial reforms, number 3, fiscal or tax reforms, number 4, foreign exchange rate reforms, reforms. Fifth one was for trade and investment. Reforms. Now we shall study about all these reforms which were undertaken under liberalization one by one. Firstly, we shall study that what were the industrial sector reforms. Under industrial sector reforms, the first measure which was being done was reduction in the burden of public sector units. Reduction in burden of public sector units. Now this was being done by reducing the number of public sector enterprises to a lesser number. Previously, there were approximately 17 industries reserved under public sector units. But now, this number has decreased up to only 3. And now, as a result, atomic energy, railway, and defense these are only the public sector units which are totally under the ownership of government. The next thing was that abolition of licensing. Before 1991, if anyone needed to establish any unit, then he or she has to seek the permission of the government in order to establish a new unit, and the permission was in the form of a license. But now this has been abolished, and now anyone can establish a new unit without any prior approval of the government. But still, licensing is required for drugs, cigars and cigarettes, pharmaceuticals, and aerospace. All these industries still require the licensing process. Next was de-reservation of production by small scale industries. Before 1991, some products were being exclusively produced by small scale industries, but now after 1991 or after the adoption of liberalization, now what is happening, the products which were being produced by small scale industries, other industries have also got the freedom to produce those goods. It means that they have been reserved by small scale industries. In addition, the investment limit in small scale industries has increased up to 1 crore rupees. Next was import of capital goods. Prior to 1991, the government did not grant any permission on the import of capital goods. But after 1991, or we can say that after adoption or following the policy of liberalization, now import of capital goods or technology has been liberalized. So these were the industrial sector reforms which took place under liberalization. Now we shall study about financial sector reforms. Financial sector reforms means that it is related to finance. It means that here the main role was being played by RBI. In this, the first major liberalization that was being done was related with the role of RBI. Previously, RBI acted as a regulator, but after the adoption of liberalization, now RBI started acting as a facilitator. It means that prior to 1991, several rates were being fixed by the RBI only, but now the financial institutions have also got some freedom to determine these rates or in making various types of decisions related to their day-to-day functioning. second one was establishment of public sector banks. Now now the government has granted permission that establishment of private sector banks. Now the government has granted permission that private sector banks or any foreign bank can be established without prior permission or without following the strict procedures which were being followed prior to 1991. Now the third point was related with the investment. Prior to 1991, investment in financial institutions was not permissible. What type of investment? It was foreign direct investment. But now, foreign institutional investment, that is mutual funds, pension funds, are now permissible after following the policy of liberalization. And the fourth point was expansion of branches. Prior to 1991, if any bank tried to establish another branch of its own, then the bank had to seek the permission of the RBI. But now there was no ban or no limit or not any type of strict procedures were being followed for the expansion of the branches. Next was the fiscal reforms. Fiscal reforms are also termed as tax reforms. Under tax reforms, the first major change that was being done was reduction in direct taxes. Second measure that was being adopted in the form of fiscal or tax reforms was reform in indirect tax. And the third thing was simplification of the way the taxes were being collected. So we can say that simplification in tax. Reduction in taxes. Prior to 1991, what had happened? The burden of income tax on the people was so much that people tried to evade the tax. And in the same way, the corporation tax was also very high. So, after the fiscal reforms, what was being done? The government reduced the income tax rate also and corporation tax rate also. The second thing that was being done was reform in indirect tax. Indirect tax means that the tax which is being paid on the commodities that we are purchasing in our day-to-day life. So what was being done that if somebody was at a far off place, then the payment of the tax required some time also. So such type of procedural delays were avoided by following the reform in indirect taxes. Next was simplification in tax. The way taxes were collected, the process was very complex, due to which the payer and the payee both have to face various types of problems related to tax. That's why the government simplified the tax in which it was being imposed and in the manner it was being paid by the people. Now we shall study that what were foreign exchange reforms. Foreign exchange reforms means that it was related to the foreign exchange in our country. The first reform that was undertaken under foreign exchange reforms was devaluation of Indian currency. Devaluation means decrease in the value of Indian rupee. Now, what happens after the decrease in the value of Indian rupee? Our exports become cheaper and our imports become costlier. As a result, exports start increasing and imports start decreasing. And it has a positive impact upon the foreign exchange reserves in our country. The next step that was being undertaken under foreign exchange reforms was fixation of foreign exchange rate. Prior to 1991, what had happened? The government used to fix the foreign exchange rate. But now, after following the reform process or after following the liberalization process, now the foreign exchange rate was fixed on the basis of demand and supply. That is, on the basis of demand for foreign currency and on the basis of supply of foreign currency. The next reform that was being undertaken was trade and investment reforms. Under trade and investment reforms, some policies were related to the export and import in our country. The first step that was being adopted was reduction in the quantitative or abolition of quantitative restrictions. Abolition of quantitative restrictions. It means that prior to 1991, a lot many restrictions were imposed upon the movement of goods from abroad and also upon the import of goods to our home country. But now, after following the policy of liberalization, the government has scrapped whatever restrictions were being imposed upon the movement of goods from our home country and from foreign country to our home country. It means that the quantitative restrictions, that only this much amount would be imported and only this much amount would be exported, now this type of restrictions was totally removed. Next step that was being adopted was abolition of licensing system. Now, there was no requirement of licensing for import of various goods. But still, some environmental issue related goods still require the license process. Now the third one was reduction in tariff. It means that the taxes which were needed to pay on the import of the goods, now there was reduction in the tariff rates. Fourth one was related to the reduction in custom on exports. Custom on exports. When there was removal of custom duty from exports, now the goods from our country could be exported to some other country freely. As a result, our exports increased and we increased our foreign exchange reserves. So this was all about various types of reforms which were undertaken under the liberalization.